Limpid. Adjective. Clear and transparent, simple and clean. Near the bank, the water was limpid, and painted stones lay sharp on the bottom. Malfeasance. Noun. Wrongdoing by a person in an official position. Auditors flagged malfeasance when funds moved with no paper trail. Demur. Verb. To object politely or hold back. She demurred when asked to sing, though she hums well while she washes dishes. Burgeon. Verb. To grow or increase quickly. Weeds began to burgeon beside the shed once the rains returned. Arcane. Adjective. Known to few, hard to understand without special knowledge. Arcane marks on the stone drew a crowd, though most visitors only guessed at their meaning. Chagrin. Noun. Annoyance or shame after a small slip. To her chagrin, she locked the keys in the car and waited on the grass in the rain. Connive. Verb. To allow wrongdoing quietly, or to cooperate with it in secret. The older cousins connived at the younger ones, sneaking pie before dinner. Equanimity. Noun. Calm steadiness of mind when things go wrong. She met the long delay with equanimity, reading her book while others paced the gate. Cupidity. Noun. Greedy desire, especially for money or gain. Cupidity made him grab too many free samples until the paper bag tore on the walk home. Adroit. Adjective. Clever and skillful in action or thought. He was adroit with rope, and the tent held fast through the storm. Jeremiad. Noun. A long mournful complaint about what is wrong. His email became a jeremiad about potholes, late buses, and trash day skipped twice. Circumvent. Verb. To find a way around a barrier or rule. They circumvented the flooded bridge by taking the gravel farm road through the fields. Nadir. Noun. The lowest point. That gray February felt like the nadir of the year, with ice inside the window frames at dawn. Facetious. Adjective. Joking during a serious moment, often inappropriately. His facetious line at the service drew stares, and he stared at his shoes for the rest of the hour. Cachet. Noun. Prestige or distinction people recognize. The tiny bakery earned cachet when the paper praised its sourdough on the front page. Assuage. Verb. To make pain, hunger, or worry milder. Tea and honey helped assuage her sore throat after the long walk in the cold. Contiguous. Adjective. Sharing a border, next to and touching. The two lots were contiguous, so one straight fence ran between the gardens. Foment. Verb. To stir up trouble or strong feeling. Gossip fomented a feud between neighbors who had shared a fence for 20 years. Esoteric. Adjective. Understood by only a small group with special knowledge. The club told esoteric jokes about old radio valves that left newcomers polite and blank. Credulity. Noun. A readiness to believe too easily. The hoax relied on credulity, and anyone who read the fine date laughed first. Germane. Adjective. Directly relevant to what is being discussed. Her question was germane, It pointed to the loose stare everyone else had ignored. Exculpate. Verb. To show that someone is not to blame. Security footage exculpated the clerk. The register error had happened overnight. Aberrant. Adjective. Straying from what is normal or acceptable. The bright phone booth in the pine woods looked aberrant, metal and glass beside rough bark. Impecunious. Adjective. Having very little money. Impecunious in college, she stacked crates for shelves and slept on a borrowed futon. Contrite. Adjective. Sincerely sorry after a fault. He sounded contrite when he admitted he had stepped on her new seedlings. Epitome. Noun. A perfect typical example of a kind. The kid in boots and mud was the epitome of spring on the farm lane. Hegemony. Noun. Leadership or control by one group over others. Younger sailors broke the old club hegemony over the regatta when they brought lighter boats and sharper turns. Debunk. Verb. To expose a claim as false using facts. A county site debunked the story that the pass was closed and traffic eased by noon. Fetter. Verb. To restrain someone or something, as with chains. Debt fettered their travel plans, so the overseas trip waited one more year. Burnish. Verb. To polish a surface, to improve how something is seen. She burnished the brass until small discs of light slid along the shelf. Anachronism. Noun. A person or thing that seems to belong to another time. A payphone on the pier felt like an anachronism next to tourists filming gulls on their phones. Oblique. Adjective. Slanting, not straight or direct. He took an oblique path through the pasture to skirt the thickest mud. Invective. Noun. Bitter, insulting language aimed at someone. The online thread turned to pure invective, so she logged off and walked the dog. Abeyance. Noun. A temporary pause, something left inactive for now. The repair plan stayed in abeyance until spring, when the river ran low enough to ford. Enervate. Verb. To drain strength or energy from. The humid heat enervated everyone on the platform until the late train finally rolled in. Florid. Adjective. Overly fancy in style, or very flushed in the face. The parlor felt florid with gold roses on the paper and velvet that swallowed the little light. Corollary. Noun. A result that follows naturally from something else. A corollary of open windows was moths batting the reading lamp at night. Antipathy. Noun. A strong dislike. She nursed a quiet antipathy toward the noisy generator, even though it kept the cabin lights on. Egregious. Adjective. Very bad in a way that is hard to miss. Pouring salt instead of sugar was an egregious error, and the cookies went straight to the bin. Diffident. Adjective. Shy and unsure about speaking up. Diffident in crowds, he still offered a clear map when hikers looked lost at the fork. Commensurate. Adjective. Matching in scale or degree. The pay was commensurate with the work, modest, but the hours were honest. Dearth. Noun. Too little of something, Scarcity. After the wet winter, there was a dearth of dry firewood, so they burned the stove sparingly. Ignoble. Adjective. Not honorable, shameful in character. Pocketing cash from the tip jar felt ignoble, and he brought the bills back the next morning. Admonish. Verb. To warn firmly because someone did wrong. She admonished the puppy softly when it dug under the fence toward the chickens. Inchoate. Adjective. Only partly formed, just beginning. The inchoate garden was still mostly mud, with a thin green line along the fence. Desiccate. Verb. To dry something out fully. Sun and wind desiccated the herbs on the rack until they crumbled between her fingers. Affable. Adjective. Friendly and easy to talk to. The innkeeper was affable, pouring cider while he asked which trail we planned to take. That's everything for this session. If this helped you, subscribe for more. See you next time.